Hey everybody, it is Napalm Dawn on G4G recording this Marvel Snap video for the third time. The first time the mic went out on me and there was like 2 seconds of audio and then there was nothing, and then the second time I recorded it, I apparently wasn't recording. So I'm probably going to rush this a little bit because I've been through it now 3 times. So let's get into it. Marvel Snap is going to be going live on October 18th. Aside from iOS and Android, we're also going to see it on Steam, but we'll cover that in a little quick moment. You can go to marvelsnap.com and pre-register, but there's a problem. We're going to get into that in just a moment. You can also go to marvelsnap.io and see a site dedicated to the Marvel Snap database. It talks about top cards and top decks, has a deck builder, articles, card database, popular decks. If you go to top cards, you will see that America Chavez is in nearly 200 decks on the site at a 39% visibility rate. The rest of the top 5 is Nightcrawler at 183 decks, 36%, Ant-Man 165 decks, 33%, Elektra 140 decks, 28%, and Iron Man at 140 decks, also 27%. And then the top 10 rounds out with Carnage in 135 decks, Sunspot 135 decks, they're 27% apiece. Sunspot recently was nerfed. However, there is one deck where I think he gets a little bit of a boost. Is he an ongoing? Just says card ability, but it doesn't really say. He should honestly be classified as a ongoing. I need to check something really quick. I think it's only fair he's considered ongoing. No, he's nothing. They should make that an ongoing so he can inherit boosts from ongoing decks, but more on that a little bit. Okoye is in the top 10. Give every card in your deck +1 power. Sentinel and Angela. It makes sense. You see a lot of Angela. Sentinel is good for collector decks, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Over on Marvel Snap, if you go to pre-registration, you get a second tab where the iOS and Steam pre-registrations ask for your email address. Put in your iOS email there. Put in your Steam email here. Unfortunately, pre-registering on Google results in a bad link. It doesn't actually go anywhere. That's a slight problem on their part. I would have had this video out a few days earlier. However, for about 4 or 6 days, my Marvel Snap was broken, where it showed that I had missions to accept and season pass to do. Also, it said that I had things in the store that were ready to go. But when I would click on it, it's like, yeah, I can't do that now, try again later, and I couldn't get out of the cycle. What actually fixed it for me was on my laptop, which is where I was playing Marvel Snap, and it spawned the issue. What I did is I went into the Android settings over on BlueStacks. I went to apps. I found Marvel Snap, which is down in the S's. I hit force stop, I went into storage, and I hit clear cache. That actually worked. I signed out of Snap and back in, and I still had the issue, and it was persisting over all of the devices that I had, but clearing the cache and force stopping it is what got me back in sync. So I was good to go. I am going to pick up this welcome bundle, because why not? It's only $3. You can't even get Starbucks for $3 right now. 700 gold, which is a instant free variant here, except for Hell Cow. I don't know why Hell Cow's is so much more expensive. I mean, it's cool. I don't think it's that cool. I don't really like the avatar that much to Layfieldian. I mean, this looks Layfieldian, but not exactly. It's not as big a chest as the Rob Layfield Captain America, but it's a little bit too hard-lined, jawed. But to have a variant card for next to nothing, I mean, why not? And I may actually turn around and spend that gold on this Deadpool, but I don't really use Deadpool right now, so it'd sort of be a waste. I may hold on to it for a card I really want to get a variant of. My upgradable cards today are Strong Guy, Doc Ock, and Nakia, who I have upgraded. My current collection looks like this, and then we'll talk about my decks in just a little bit. So the update's coming to Marvel Snap. As you can see here, we are in the Symbiote Invasion season. It's going to last for another 4 weeks. So in about a week's time, when we have the global launch people will still be able to get into a relatively full season, because they did say the seasons are now going to be a month long. Aside from month-long seasons and the fact that all the seasons that happened during the closed beta, they will get brought back, so people who missed it can have another chance at getting it, like the Thor Unworthy season over here. People who did not play the beta will still be able to get access to everything that they missed. You'll also be able to play friends. You'll have a friends list, and you can choose to duel somebody. You will also have a non-competitive ranked mode, sort of like casual, over in Marvel Duel. I think that is a great idea, because some people just want to make decks and try them and not play others and have the high stakes. Sometimes you just want to make a deck and play test it 10 times before you put it on the ladder. So I think having a casual mode and a friendly duel mode is good. I don't think you'll see missions being able to get completed in duels, because you could cheese it, but she did say you can complete your missions in the casual mode. My current avatars are Unworthy Thor, which I'm sticking with. This particular Hawkeye comes with the fact that I'm playing the beta. A little more on that in a moment. So we have Underbite Carnage, we have Agent 13, we have Cartoon Network Hawkeye, we have Crossbones, sort of looking like Punisher, Misty Knight with the shield. We'll see more on that in a little bit. Heimdall, Blue Marvel, a good-looking Sif, a very good-looking Gamora, Colossus, Riri Ironheart, Ant-Man, Forge, Abomination, Chavez, Arrow, Shang-Chi, Misty Knight, the original, M'Baku, the White Gorilla, Medusa, the default one, and Cyclops. Over here, looking at my cards and decks, I'll run through my database and then my decks in just a moment. This is the beta reward Hawkeye, looking straight out of Cartoon Network with a Winter Soldier arm. Wouldn't you think it would make more sense to have a metallic arm on your draw arm than your bow arm for potentially stronger draws? Yellow Jacket, Ant-Man, and the variant Deadpool. As you can see, my Deadpool has not been buffed. I do only have him in one deck. He hasn't gotten any upgrades at all, so I don't know that I would get the Cancer variant there. Elektra, Hawkeye, Squirrel Girl, good for Patriot decks, more on that in a moment. Sunspot, possibly good combination with Infinite, more on that a little bit later. 13 variant, Angel, Iceman, Iron Fist, Korg, Mantis. She's in my main deck, that's why she's so boosted up there. Misty Knight with Captain America shield. Wonder when that happens. Nightcrawler, Nova, Quicksilver and variant, Rocket Raccoon, Watu and variant, Yondu, Blade, Ebony Maw, Morbin Time, Angela, Robin of Batman looking Bucky Barnes, who then changes into the Winter Soldier, Forge from one of the avatars that you saw, Hazmat, kind of looking like the main AIM character over in Marvel Strike Force, not Graviton, but the chick who leads up the AIM faction over in Marvel Strike Force. That's what this reminds me of. Afflict all other cards with -1 power. Very interesting, and actually I think that has a combo with Debris. So let me show you what Debris does. Debris says add a rock to each other location for players. It's a 1/0 if you have Debris dropping and then you have Hazmat dropping, their rocks become -1. That's kind of cool. That's a fun little combo there. The Collector. When a card enters your hand from anywhere except from a normal draw out of your deck, +1 power. This is really good with a card right next to it like Cable. Put the bottom card of your opponent's deck into your hand. Cards like that all proc the Collector, but we're going to see a deck based around that in a little bit. Carnage, Daredevil, Kraven, Medusa, Sinister Mojo with a huge nameplate, Okoye, Scorpion, my split Star-Lord. So when I say split, that means my Star-Lord maxed out. You'll notice over here it has a sort of rainbow designation over there. That's because my Star-Lord has been upgraded all the way and can't be any further. So rather than top out, the game's like, well, do you want to split the card? If you say yes, you essentially get a clone of Star-Lord all the way back at level 0 with a little extra flair. And you can level him all over again. And we're going to see more of that in a few moments. Colossus, Domino, Multiple Man, Switch, Sentinel. Good for collector decks, because when you drop Sentinel, it puts a clone of him in your hand. That works for collector. Shocker, Swarm, Wolverine, Cloak, Lizard, Cerebro, Riri, Ironheart, Morph, Bishop, Alternative, Bishop Primary, Nakia, Patriot. Your cards with no abilities have +2 power. While the very obvious thing sounds like, oh, that's good for somebody like Shocker who has no flavor. Yes, but you have to think deeper. As friend of the channel Darth Plato pointed out, your token cards are considered to not have power. So if you drop Squirrel Girl and she puts a squirrel in each location, those squirrels are considered unpowered. Yes, they are created from a power, but they don't have power themselves. So instead of being a 1/1, they become a 1/3. Pretty decent. Wolfsbane, I used to use her a lot in my reveal deck. She is not in my reveal deck anymore. +2 power for each other card you have here. Mr. Fantastic, Pun, Storm, Captain America. She ruins a location by flooding it. This is the last turn cards can be played here. I actually should move her into my control deck. Captain America, Cosmo, Debris. Debris would work with Patriot. Add a rock to each other location for both players. So aside from Hazmat turning a 1/0 into a 1-1, if you were to use Patriot, it would be a real interesting boost, because your rocks would become 1/2s. It's not really good, but 2 is better than 0. Doc Strange, Groot and Groot, normal and variant, Killmonger, Moon Knight, Rhino, Vulture, Cyclops, who has no power, so he would get boosted by Patriot. Hulkbuster, and there is a zone in the game that says cards with no power get a boost. Hulkbuster, Sif and Sif, Sabretooth, Thor. This would be a power token, because this token says on reveal, give Thor +6 power. Wow, I should really combine that with Odin. Huh. I should try and... why am I not? That needs to be on my on reveal deck. Deathlock, Swordmaster, Jubilee, Sandman, Sandman variant, a really scary, creepy looking Sandman. It's kind of awesome. Ghost Rider, Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi variant, Enchantress, JJ, Kazar, Moon Girl, Strong Guy. New to the season, Miles Morales. If a card moved anywhere on the field the turn before, whether it's you or your opponent, so he is a pro move deck. You want to put him in your deck if you have a moving deck. But he is also an anti-moving deck, where if the enemy moves a card, he becomes a 1/5, which is amazing. Namor, Warpath. If any of your locations are empty, +4 power. I do not have him in my ongoing deck because I don't usually have empty locations. I could attempt to orchestrate that. I don't want to. There's the original Hellcow thing. He is unpowered, so he'd be good for a Patriot deck. White Queen, aka Emma Frost, is good for a watcher, not a watcher deck, a collector deck, because draw a copy of the highest cost card in your opponent's hand. That counts for the collector. Crossbones, Hobgoblin. Your opponent gains control of this. This is good in just about any deck. However, the counter on the enemy side is to have an Odin. If Odin hits the Hobgoblin zone, you get Hobgoblin right back. But good for a control deck, as this would ruin anybody's plans. I had a Debris ruin my plans for a zone one time a couple nights ago. Iron Man, White Tiger, one of my favorite cards. Blue Marvel, Devil Dino, Leech, Professor X, Claw, my split Gamora. Here is my maxed out. This is my maxed out Gamora. This is her clone. Nick Fury, Spider-Woman, who got nerfed recently. She went from a 4 to a 5 cost. Vision. Jane Foster Thor, who is broken for me. Don't know what her powers are unless I consult the database. Abomination, who is unpowered. Doc Ock, Spectrum, Onslaught, Apocalypse, Heimdall, Odin. America Chavez, Hulk, who is unpowered, also good for Patriot deck. Magneto with a really cute variant over there. I like it. I think that's very funny. Magneto normal, Infinite, and Death. Infinite, I think, is a good combo with Sunspot, because if you skip turn 5, Sunspot gets a bit of a boost, and then it sets up Infinite to drop. However, this is considered a powered card. It is not ongoing, not on reveal, but this is a power, so he would not get a boost from Patriot. Still potentially a game-winning card if played correctly and played in zones with boost, or maybe in the zone boosted by Mr. Fantastic or Claw. And then Death costs 1 less for each card destroyed this game. So my decks are on reveal, which is my primary deck. This has got a lot of on reveal cards going into it that Odin duplicates. So things like Mantis, Rocket can be duplicated. Daredevil just helps me plan turn 5 a little bit, which may help me set up Gamora. Medusa isn't on reveal if she's put in the middle, +2 power. If I drop Odin on her, it would activate her again, so she would become a 2/2 that goes to a 2/4, and then she would go to a 2/6 if she's in the middle and Odin drops on her. Star-Lord would get a boost from Odin. Same thing for Groot. Actually, I think, do I have the wrong Groot in there? Oh, I was, okay, yeah. Oh, hey, they give you a swap-in variant, but now that is really cool. I can't remember which is the original and which is the variant on that one. I think the one without Rocket is the variant, and the one with Rocket is new. It'd be cool if at some point Second Dinner gives us the ability to have interactions between cards in a zone. So say you drop Rocket Raccoon in a zone, and then if you drop Groot, Groot and Rocket merge, and Rocket's powers get added to Groot, and then you have freed up a slot. You've taken your 1-drop out of there. You're still getting value, but now you freed it up for a potential future card over there. I have Jubilee, which plays a card from my deck at this location. I have had Jubilee bring in Odin. So White Tiger was in the zone. I pulled Jubilee. Jubilee pulled in Odin, who caused White Tiger to send another Battle Cat on over to another zone. And what was weird, though, is that when Odin dropped, Odin procced White Tiger, but Odin did not proc Jubilee. I was surprised. If the game made sense, Odin would drop and cause Jubilee to do another on-reveal ability, pulling in another card. It didn't work, but if I dropped Odin manually, Jubilee does it. I need to get my leveling Gamora in there, so I'm going to remove you from the deck. and add you to the deck. Spider-Woman's also good with Odin. Afflict all enemy cards here at 1 power. If you drop Odin on her, it's -2, which is pretty decent. And then I have my ongoing deck. This is my second favorite deck. Basically, the win condition is Spectrum giving my ongoing cards +2 power, or Onslaught duplicating the ongoing effects at a location. A real good win condition there is Onslaught duplicating Iron Man. So if Iron Man drops in a zone that has 10 power right there, he doubles it to 20, and then Onslaught makes Iron Man act as a quad instead of a double. Claw boosts the location to the right with 6 power. Onslaught on top of him would say the location to the right is 12 power, which is almost enough to win a zone with potentially no cards. Namor doesn't fit. Namor doesn't fit Onslaught, because if I were to drop... So he would be 4/5. If he's alone, he's 4/10. If I drop Onslaught on him, he's not alone anymore. However, if Spectrum is dropped, he goes from a 4/7 or 4/10 to be a... Excuse me, I got that a little bit messed up. He would either be a 4/5 or a 4/10, and then if Spectrum comes around, he would become a 4/7 or a 4/12, which is pretty decent. Captain America with Onslaught would give cards +2 power in a zone. Ironheart, she used to be in my reveal deck. I don't run her in the reveal deck anymore. Odin would be able to proc her again, but I have her just to kind of boost cards here in the ongoing deck. I need to see if there is a better ongoing card and take Ironheart out. I also need to see if I can work Thor into the on reveal deck. Discard duty. Discard decks are pretty popular. This deck is made up of a bunch of cards that cause discards, like Blade, Moon Knight, Sif, Swordmaster, Hellcow, and then there's cards that get boosted by getting discarded, like Angel, Morbin Time, Swarm, Wolverine. Ghost Rider can pull back somebody from the graveyard, and then the goal is to boost Apocalypse at least once or twice. That's the win condition there. Death is to destroy cards so that Death gets boosted. Deadpool and Angel and Nova react to being destroyed, as does Bucky. Carnage is a destroyer. Killmonger is a destroyer. Deathlock is a destroyer. Wolverine is a destroy-E. Sabretooth is a destroy-E. Frost is just in here to help a little bit, and the same thing for Spectrum. Nobody is really an ongoing in this deck, so I may need to see if there's somebody else that I can do there, maybe a 5 or a different 6-drop. Moving and Shaken is my moving deck. Miles Morales is in there. This is all about people similar to the discard deck or the death deck. This is all about people who create movement or react to movement. Multiple Man is a good one for moving. Nightcrawler moves himself, so he can set up Miles if I want to. Vulture gets boosted if he's somewhere that a card moves into. Vision can move. Heimdall moves everybody at the end. Mr. Fantastic just buffs up his own, as does Claw. And then we have a control deck. This doesn't really control the enemy team. It just more controls the field, with Collector telling me if I need to ruin or switch a particular zone. I think I'm going to take... Armor is there so that cards at a location can't be destroyed. That is a bit of a control. I don't have any destroy things on my side, but that may help me lock down a zone that I really like and don't want a card destroyed. But what I could do is take Armor out and put Storm in. Because if I get Watu, I now have 3 different ways of killing a zone that I maybe don't like. Doctor Strange helps me adjust things at the end. Professor X is a lockdowner. Leech removes abilities from the enemy, and Hulk is kind of the win condition on that one. And then Handy Fury. This is my collector deck. So it is based around the fact that Collector gets boosted anytime something creates a card in my hand other than a standard pull. Agent 13 does it, Cable does it, Okoye just boosts my deck a little bit, Sentinel creates cards, Mr. Fantastic just helps with a zone, Rhino ruins a location, Moon Girl duplicates my deck, which boosts Collector and Devil Dino, White Queen adds a card, and Nick Fury adds a card. So if I were to search for, say, add, let's just make sure. So she creates them on the battlefield. That doesn't help. Mr. Sinister creates them on the battlefield. He doesn't help. These are Moozers. Add a rock. That adds it to the field. She won't help. That's on the field. She doesn't help. So right now I have the best possible cards for boosting Collector and Devil Dino. I can't really do much other than that. I think I may create a unpowered deck with tokens and everything. I would like to have Ultron before doing that. Do a Patriot unpowered token deck over there. So that is about it for today over here in Marvel Snap. So coming in the future, we have the fact that everybody's going live globally on the 18th. You'll still be able to get in on the Symbiote season. They're going to have unranked matches. They're going to have matches against your friend. They're going to have the ability to earn tokens, and then you cash the tokens out to get the specific cards that you want. Sort of like in old World of Warcraft, where you could have the Valor badges or the Justice badges, accumulate them through raids and bosses and everything like that, and then turn them in to get gear that you want rather than relying on drops. That's about it that I remember them talking about. Oh, there's about 150 cards right now in the database, with over 1,000 once you start taking the variants into effect. And you can see that some cards have about like 4 different variants. So here's America Chavez's original, and here's 4 variants. So it's very easy to see how they get up from 150 to 1,000 very, very quickly over there with their card database. And the reason why I say Ultron would be good for a unpowered deck, if we go to the card database and then we type in Ultron, on reveal, create 4 1-power drones at each location. So Patriot would buff them. Ant-Man would react to that. Because that could fill out a potential zone. Mojo would be good for it, because Mojo then might get a potentially 4 on the enemy side, 4 on your side. Mojo might get a little bit of a lucky boost from Ultron. Ant-Man might get a boost based on if you max out your side. And of course, Patriot would create those 4 1-power drones and make them be 4 3-power drones at each other location. It's not bad. It's fun. Interesting to think of Ultron as a token generator, but in all the games where we see Ultron, that's what he does. He summons little Ultron dudes coming in. And honestly, I feel like Doom should be add a 5-power Doom bot to each other location. Wow, yeah, damn. Patriot would boost them too. Add a 5-power Doom bot to each other location. Yeah, Ant-Man could get boosted off that. Mojo could get boosted off of that. Patriot would boost that for sure. So, shame I don't have those. I feel like I would love to have an Ultron or a Doom token generator in the Patriot deck, but there is nothing stopping me from making the deck now and swapping things out a little later on. So, hope you guys enjoyed this Marvel Snap video. I will be making a Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux video either tonight or tomorrow, because Goofy has released another private beta where the mission map is working for Chapter 1, Mission 1, Chapter 1, and everything like that. So we'll get to test combat a little bit more, and I'll be tackling that video soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.